What's up, everybody? Welcome into Tom Curran's Patriots Talk podcast. This is the aftermath, and it's the aftermath of a Patriots loss in overtime on the road in Green Bay. Not unprecedented to figure that would happen, even if it was Mac Jones under center. But the fact the Patriots took it to overtime with a guy named Bailey Zappe from Western Kentucky seeing his first real NFL action, it's a little bit jaw-dropping. And while we're going to have a massive amount of conversation today about whether or not people in the New England area who follow any of the area sports teams are able to enjoy any such thing as a moral victory. Why do I keep doing that? I have no idea either. But there's going to be a lot of consternation about whether all these hard-bitten, bottom-lining fans believe that we're stooping to new levels if we celebrate something called a moral victory. I'm going to point out to those fans and media members, of which there will be legion, that the New England Patriots franchise was really built on springboarding moral victories, especially the Parcells-Belichick edition. You remember 1993? Maybe some of you don't. If you don't, the Patriots were 0-11 in 1993. Drew Bledsoe's under center. They actually reeled off 5 wins at the end of that year with Bill Parcells and Drew Bledsoe in a mind meld and Michael Timpson making catches against Snowbanks in the old Foxborough Stadium. I remember Dan Deerdorf saying, I don't know if this team's going to lose another game. They didn't. And the next year, what happened? Well, Bill Parcells led that team to a playoff berth until they lost to Bill Belichick and the Cleveland Browns. 1996, another time you saw a moral victory. The Patriots go down to Dallas. That was a wagon, those Dallas Cowboys, with Aikman and Irvin and Emmitt Smith and Novacek and one of the most imposing offensive lines of that era or any era. Patriots lost that game 12-6. That was the game that Adam Vinatieri tracked down Herschel Walker on a kickoff return, and when Ty Law kind of owned Michael Irvin. That team didn't lose another game. They finished the season 11-5. We can go to 2001 and the win over the loss to the St. Louis Rams that served as propulsion for the rest of that season. They didn't lose another game, another one of those. And then we can go maybe even 2003. The Patriots play a game against the Tennessee Titans. It's an absolute shootout. They somehow escape with a win. Mike Cloud, the star that day. They didn't lose another game. Well, they didn't. They didn't lose another game. 2014. In that absolute ass beating that they took in Kansas City. What did the Patriots wind up with in the second half? What did Bill Belichick cite? What did the entire team point to? The way they competed in that game. Another moral victory. So we can keep on with this or we can just get to the point. The point is, for all the flaws the Patriots might have in terms of the way they constructed their coaching staff or the way they constructed their coaching staff or, maybe even the way they constructed their coaching staff. The guys bought in enough to what Bill Belichick is telling them where they competed their asses off. I said before this game, this is a point where the Patriots have always shown when the adversity is stacked up that they are going to absolutely start chopping on the adversity tree and try and bring it down. Adversity was stacked up today. And then more got stacked on top of the already present adversity. And what did the Patriots do? They took one of the great quarterbacks of all time to overtime on the road. There's a lot to like about what the Patriots did. Let me give you a few instances, and we'll give you some stuff to not like a whole hell of a lot either. I'm going to start with the Jones boys, Jack Jones and Marcus Jones. One making a pick six and a fumble recovery, the other one with a bunch of special teams returns. Those are both rookies. How about Cole Strange, another rookie? Playing real well on the left side of the line next to Trent Brown, whose light has absolutely gone on. The pilot light that sometimes flickers for Trent, it is blazing. Patriots ran the ball like demons. Ramondre Stevenson, second-year player. Damian Harris, fourth-year player. All of these guys are part of a young core. Kyle Duggar on defense. Adrian Phillips on defense. Matt Judon had one of his better games. Jacoby Myers didn't play today. Jalen Mills didn't play today. Two of the Patriots' better players were not on the field. So that all matters. Now, did Isaiah Wynn basically get Brian Hoyer smushed? Was Ramondre Stevenson supposed to chip on that play against Kenny Clark? Maybe. Don't know. We're going to have to look at the film. But the upshot of it is you can't have that. But the Patriots, personnel-wise, were smart enough to go get Marcus Cannon this week, and he already looks better than Isaiah Wynn's looked in 2 years. So Marcus Cannon's out there at right tackle. The bottom line is the Patriots have a grinding rushing attack, and they have more than enough mid-level offensive talent to carry a passing game. Is it going to carry a passing game guided by Bailey Zappe and Brian Hoyer over a long haul? No. No, it's not. Defense could carry this team for a little bit. I don't know what the Patriots will end up doing if Mac Jones is not full go. Do you want Brian Hoyer if he is cleared to play and does not have a concussion, which, we don't know if he was diagnosed with a concussion or if he had symptoms. We do know that the NFL is rightfully extremely sensitive to the topic of concussions right now and has been for a while. Last week's Tua Tagovailoa situation notwithstanding, I think that the NFL has had its come to Jesus moment probably 14 years ago on concussions. Again, yeah, last week was a horrendous look, and the outcry is somewhat deserved. But the notion that the NFL doesn't care about player safety is kind of false. They're vomiting billions of dollars into it because they know how shitty it looks when they treat the players like chattel. Be that as it may. Brian Hoyer, if he's full go and Bailey Zappe's full go, who do you go with? I would say Brian Hoyer. If they aren't, if it comes down to Mac Jones against those guys, yeah, you start Mac Jones. But the bottom line is the Patriots are entering a stretch playing Detroit, at Cleveland, at the Jets, Indianapolis, some other team that's escaping me at the moment. Probably should have it open here, but I don't. With either Zappe or Hoyer starting, I don't know if they'll be necessarily favored by the time the game is played in any of those. They are -2 right now against Detroit at home. But what they saw today and what they showed today and what they proved today to themselves is they're making serious progress. And you know who else proved something? Matt Patricia. I've said it a few times. It wasn't his fault that he got placed in the position that Bill Belichick put him in. It's a tough spot, and it looked tough throughout July, August, and the first game of the season. But I think he's pulled enough levers to make his case as having had a remarkable turnaround. Now, you're saying to yourself, where's Phil Perry? You know where Phil Perry is? He's at Lambeau Field. And Phil Perry joined Michael Holley and I on Postgame Live. And he put together so many cogent words and observations, including his take on Matt Patricia's allegedly remarkable start to the season, that I said, you know what? Skull Crusher, John Henry, let's just rip it and put it up in the pod. Yeah, the Aftermath pod. So, in comes Phil Perry and Michael Holley. I'll see you on the other side.
Let us bring in Phil Perry, our guy on the scene in Green Bay. And Phil, dare we say, moral victory?
You know what, Michael? People inside the Patriots locker room are saying it, essentially. Kendrick Bourne, Matthew Slater. We know how long Matthew Slater's been around. I asked him if he has been this positive or feeling this optimistically after a loss in his recent memory. He said he can't remember a time when he's felt as though this team has had a moral victory in a loss, but he includes this game as such. The reason why they overcame a lot. He felt like they showed a lot of resiliency today. Obviously, they weren't dealt a great hand in terms of their offense, having to deal with a new quarterback and everything that comes with that. So there are a lot of positive feelings in that locker room today, even though they come away with a loss.
Phil, what do the kids have to say about their young quarterback, Bailey Zappe?
Poise. That's what we heard over and over and over again in the locker room. And David Andrews brought it up. Hey, hell of a time to try to start your NFL career. The kid hasn't even been active to this point in his rookie season. First drive, he's backed up near his own end zone in the Lambeau Field or at Lambeau Field. So it was a hell of a situation for him to be dropped into. I think there were a lot of people who were impressed by the fact that he didn't get a ton of reps in practice with Brian Hoyer. There was a split there, but the sense I got was that Brian Hoyer, reasonably so, got the bulk of the work in practice in the week leading up to this game. And not only that, but he comes in and he's running an offense that really looks nothing like what he did at Western Kentucky, where he's in the shotgun, everything's spread out, there's a lot of RPO. They did that early for Zappe in this game, I think maybe to try to help him settle in. But eventually they went to a lot of under center. They used a lot of Marcus Cannon at tight end, some jumbo-looking packages with Jonnu Smith out, and they really leaned on the run game. But that style of offense, under center, power run game, play action off of those types of run looks, that's not what Bailey Zappe did at Western Kentucky when he was breaking records there. So just adds to, the layers of just how impressed Bailey Zappe's teammates were tonight.
Now, Phil, we talked about it earlier in the show. Aaron Rodgers had the worst first half statistically of his career against the Patriots. In the second half and overtime looked like the same Aaron Rodgers, the one Bill Belichick was raving about after the game. But part of the reason he struggled in the first half, Jack Jones, great pick six, great anticipation. Tell me what you saw today from Jack Jones and Marcus Jones in all aspects of the game.
Yeah, this is a game that I think Director of Player Personnel Matt Groh had to have been watching in the press box, not far from where the rest of us in the media were sitting, and had to have really been enjoying himself. Because between Bailey Zappe, Jack Jones, and Marcus Jones, those are 3 mid-round picks that all looked like big-time hits tonight. I mean, let's just put it that way. Big-time might be exaggerating a little bit as far as the quarterback goes, but Jack Jones is a ball hawk. He was all through training camp. He really has been from the start of his college career at USC before he had his bumpy road to Arizona State before being drafted. But he said after the fact, and I love this from him, is just such a stereotypical cornerback attitude, but the attitude that I think you need to succeed at this level. He was asked about the pick, and he said, hey, I feel like that's disrespectful if you try to throw an out route on me because nobody should be able to get behind me. So he felt like he should have picked off that pass. Be damned that it was Aaron Rodgers, future Hall of Famer, who was throwing in his direction on that particular play. But he forces the fumble earlier in the game and recovers it himself. He's a slight guy. Teams will run at him, as the Packers did quite often tonight. But if he can figure out just how to tackle with that frame that he has, the ball skills clearly are there. And then as far as Marcus Jones goes, almost 25 yards per punt return, almost 28 yards per kick return. We knew this guy was an explosive returner when he was coming out of the University of Houston. All kinds of electric athletic ability. For some reason, they just didn't trust him in those spots through the first 3 games of the season. Miles Bryant muffs his way out of being the punt returner. Marcus Jones is in, and he really looks like a game changer. And guys, for this offense to survive, if it has to survive much longer without Mac Jones, they're going to need big-time plays from the defense, from their special teams. It looks like they have 2 rookies who can do just that.
Can Miles Bryant play his way out of slot corner? Is that possible? Can he muffed his way out of that? Can he stop playing slot corner? I just want to know that.
That wasn't a DPI, I thought. Did you guys think that was defensive pass interference on him towards the end of the game? You have a right to that space as a defender. Yeah.
It could have been OPI.
Earlier tonight, I described the arc of Matt Patricia's early season as being remarkable. Now, I freely admit that a lot of that is based on where it started and where it was after week 1. We hit him with the slings and arrows after week 1 for the breakdowns and the lack of imagination. But he's now got 3 weeks, including this one as the cherry on top. Yes, it's a loss, but is remarkable overstating what Matt Patricia's done? You hush.
Yes.
It's his answer.
Yes.
Why?
Remarkable is a little too much. Remarkable is a little too much. Because I thought even coming into this game after 3 games, there was still so much that had been left on the table for Matt Patricia to be able to help his offense out even more than he had. They really weren't using RPOs. They weren't using play action at all. They're at the bottom of the league in both of those categories. Those are quarterback-friendly concepts. Those are free yards offensively that teams across the league are using that the Patriots are just saying, no, we don't need that. No, we put up 17 against Pittsburgh. You see us? We're just fine. We'll throw 50-50 balls down the sideline time and time again. So I give the players credit for winning those jump balls. I give Mac Jones credit for being accurate at times with those types of passes. But he needed to do more to scheme up open receivers down the field, to scheme up explosive plays. And I thought he did that tonight. But I thought he did it by embracing what they've done well through the first month of the season here, which is run the ball. Again, over 5 yards per carry tonight, and they hammered the Packers again and again with that downhill run game. They mixed in some wide zone. They had plenty of inside zone handoffs as well. They can really run just about any concept, which David Andrews takes a lot of pride in, he told us after the game today. So you run the ball the way that they did, then that's when you turn and you use your play action, and they were able to do that on a handful of occasions with Bailey Zappe. I feel like whenever Mac Jones gets back onto the field, guys, if they can sort of have this type of game plan that they used today with Zappe, give him help with play action, allow him to do what he did in college. RPO, Zappe did it in college. RPO, help settle him down here tonight. then I think your offense could really take off just because Mac Jones is a better quarterback than Bailey Zappe. But he needs help. He needs some help from Matt Patricia. Maybe Matt Patricia will be able to give him that whenever he gets back on the field.
Real quick, Phil, you said whenever Mac Jones gets back, when do you think he'll be back?
I would not rule him out for this coming week against the Lions. If he did not have a procedure on the ankle to stabilize the ankle, to be able to keep those two bones in the ankle where they need to be so that he can run around if he needs to, that he can plant and throw the way he needs to, that to me tells me there's probably not a ton of instability there. Now, pain, I'm sure. Swelling, I'm sure. But I think the fact that he's been walking around on his own 2 feet, he hasn't been in a boot, is my understanding. He's been wearing a compression sleeve to help promote some healing there. The fact that he's out at practice, not only on Friday, where he wasn't a participant, but he's out there and he walks up to the field, but he was out there on Thursday for about 20 minutes, threw some passes as a spectator, essentially. He was at a walkthrough on Wednesday. The fact that he's out and about and he's moving around on this thing tells me it's not incredibly severe. And so I would not rule it out for this Lions game.
Nice, tight observations, fresh from the locker room. Those are hot off the griddle takes from Phil Perry. We will dive into so much more this week. We have Phil's breakdown that comes up Monday night with Ted Johnson. They'll break down some of the key plays from the game. Of course, Quick Slants will be on Tuesday with the great Kay Adams will join us. And we will have Tom Curran's Patriots Talk podcast again on Thursday. Patriots, Detroit next week. It's the Detroit breakdown, the Motor City shakedown. If you know, you know. And I'm sure you do. It's the Woofa Goofa Mama Toofa coming at you. Wow, I'm dating myself with my Jay Giles references. All right, folks. I know, maybe some of you are bummed out. Maybe they should have done more with Bailey Zappe. Maybe they shouldn't have gone into a little turtle mode at the end of the game on 3rd and 3 and given it to Ramondre Stevenson. I get your gripe. I understand it. Extend the game. Punt. Maybe they fumble. They did have an opportunity at the 50 to maybe get a first down and kick a field goal. Didn't do it. Didn't happen. Hunter Henry got caught up in the traffic a little bit, and when he cleared, there was no throwing lane. That shit happens. Could they have won? Yeah. Could they have beaten Baltimore? Yeah. Could they have made a couple of blocks against the Miami Dolphins? Yeah. Could they be 4-0? Yeah. Holy shit. All right. So, as a result, as Michael Holley said, though, teams that do that, they're really not good teams because they're always looking for reasons. You know what teams that are really not good teams? The ones that lose 24-3, like the Patriots did to the Rams a couple of years ago in the Cam season, or the ones that don't make the other team punt, like the Patriots didn't do with the Buffalo Bills in a couple games. Yeah, I know the Patriots didn't go and see the Bills in any of their first 4 games. But as much as we caterwauled about the situation on the sidelines and the changing of the offense and just how abjectly, earmuffs, shitty it looked, earmuffs back off. Although if you had them on, you're not hearing that. The arrow's kind of pointing up, heading to Detroit. Thank you very much for joining us. We will talk to you this week. Goodbye.